Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you are new here. I'm honestly not sure how long today's video is going to stay up if YouTube ends up not liking it, but today is going to be another drawing tutorial. I'm on Medibang this time, and I'll be teaching you how I personally draw blood. This tends to be more so for like stuff coming out of wounds, and it's going to be mildly gory with some descriptions, so that is just a quick content warning before we get started. No wounds will be like realistic or anything because I can't even do realistic wounds, so it will be okay if you are sensitive to that kind of stuff. Okay, so here I have some like vague wound shapes that aren't really colored in or anything since we don't need to, and then I have some blank patches just for showing like stains and drips and stuff. So first with Medibang, the brush that I would recommend for this most is the watercolor brushes. You have wet, opaque, and mixed, I think. And all of them work quite well. I have a bunch of different brushes here, but we're going to be going with watercolor wet. Now, with blood generally, you're going to want to have a just straight in the red section. Have it not too bright, and have it be pretty dark. Then with wounds, you're generally going to want to do it in a different way depending on the wound shape and what kind it is. So for example, if this is just a normal cut, you're going to want to get some, like, in there, kind of, since the blood would spill in there. And then for dripping down, you would want to remember the shape of the skin. So if it's on the side and there's more of an angle like this, then you're going to want to have your drops going in that sort of vague angle. If you have the bottom of a face or another limb, then you can always just add onto it like that. Just have some on the edges. It can make it look like it's sort of just gathered there, which can be a really nice effect. But you also have to bear in mind with gravity, since blood is a liquid, it will look different for cuts that are shaped horizontally, like this one. It would probably be some going out the side, but very minimal, and then it would gather at the bottom and go down in the same way. Just a bit more direct. Then for circular, more holy wounds, you're probably going to want to have some at the top. If it's a completely hollow hole, you could have some dripping down from the inside area of this. But for the outside of it, it would follow the same vague rules. You have sort of the general outline right here. You can bump it up if you want to. And then depending on the angle, you can have your drops go down wherever you want them to. With blood, you can also sort of blend it in if you want to by having your brush on a lower opacity and just blending in. Now for stains. You're generally going to want a bigger sized brush for the stains, and although you can have the stains be this normal blood color, you can also have them be a little bit less saturated color-wise because the blood probably would have dried out depending on how long ago this happened. The longer it's there for, the more sort of brownish it will get instead of red. And then you can further blend into them with your lower opacity brush. You can also use things like the blur tool if you want to, or different textured brushes. Oil paint brushes tend to work really well with this. It might also look different depending on what surface you're putting the stain on. If it's on clothes, then it's probably going to have to spread out a bit more in a much lower opacity. And you can also change it to multiply, just for some extra help when it comes to things like clothes. For example, right here, if we changed this underneath color to a color that the clothes would be, like for example a blue or whatever, then you would see that it looks a bit different now that we have the multiply on. It looks completely different depending on what color you would have the fabric be, as you can see. Then if you wanted to just do a drop, it would depend on the angle of the skin, of course, but here's how you would do it. So let's say the angle is around by here. That's the general angle that we have going on. You would just get the blood and drip it sideways like that. So let's have our guideline be this. You would just sort of take it down like this, assuming that up here is going to be the source of the blood. It would just go down. Sometimes it might separate into two different streams depending on where it is. And then again, if you want to blend on this just a little bit, you can always add in a lower opacity thing just to make it look a bit more realistic. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, consider supporting. Bye!